know what nobody tells you about self-development? That the most powerful transformation you'll ever experience doesn't come from a 30-day challenge, a motivational speech, or even a life-changing book. It comes from something so simple, so accessible, that most people walk right past it every single day without even noticing. And here's the thing that might frustrate you, but it's the truth. You already know what it is. Somewhere deep down, you've always known. But knowing and doing are two completely different universes, and today we're going to bridge that gap forever. By the end of this conversation, you're going to understand why this one daily practice has the power to rewire your entire existence, and more importantly, how to actually make it stick this time. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up tomorrow and for the first time in years, maybe even decades, you actually feel aligned with who you're becoming. Not who you were yesterday, not who someone else thinks you should be, but the person you're actively creating through conscious choice. That version of you exists, and it's closer than you think. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't filled with complex strategies or expensive courses. It's filled with one deceptively simple practice that compounds over time like interest in a bank account you never knew you had. Here's what's actually happening in your brain when you skip this practice. Your neural pathways are literally reinforcing the old version of you, the one running on autopilot, the one making decisions based on outdated programming from years ago. Every day you don't engage in this practice, you're essentially voting for your past self to control your future. And your brain doesn't care about your potential. It cares about efficiency, pattern recognition, survival. It wants to keep you exactly where you are because that's familiar, that's safe, that's known territory. But what if I told you that your brain is also incredibly plastic, adaptable, ready to rewire itself the moment you give it the right input? What if the reason you keep falling back into old patterns isn't because you're broken or lack willpower, but because you've never been shown how to work with your brain's natural design instead of against it? This is where everything changes. This is where the practice I'm about to share with you becomes not just helpful, but absolutely essential. The practice is this: conscious reflection, not meditation, not journaling in the traditional sense, not affirmations, conscious reflection. And before you roll your eyes thinking you've heard this before, stay with me, because the way most people approach reflection is exactly why it doesn't work for them. They treat it like a passive activity, like scrolling through their thoughts the way they scroll through social media. That's not reflection, that's mental noise with a fancy name. Real conscious reflection is active, it's intentional. It's asking yourself specific questions that your brain has been avoiding because the answers require you to confront uncomfortable truths. Questions like, what did I do today that moved me closer to who I want to become? What did I do that pulled me away? What pattern showed up again that I've been pretending not to notice? What am I afraid will happen if I actually change? These aren't gentle, feel-good questions. They're surgical. They cut through the stories you tell yourself and get straight to the operating system running your life. Think about it this way. You've been living your entire life as if you're a passenger in a car, watching the scenery go by, occasionally complaining about the route, but never actually grabbing the steering wheel. Conscious reflection is the moment you realize you've always had access to that wheel. You just convinced yourself someone else was supposed to be driving. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, society, the algorithm. Anyone but you. And now you're somewhere you don't recognize, wondering how you got here, when the truth is you were there the whole time, just not paying attention. This is why most self-development advice fails. It gives you new destinations without teaching you how to drive. It hands you a map to a better life, but never addresses the fact that you're still sitting in the passenger seat. Conscious reflection puts you back in control. It makes you the author of your story instead of a character reacting to whatever the plot throws at you next. And here's the beautiful part. It only takes 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes of honest, uncomfortable, transformative conversation with yourself. But let's be real about what those 10 minutes actually look like, because this is where most people sabotage themselves before they even start. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they have a leather journal and the aesthetically pleasing corner of their apartment and a cup of artisan coffee and complete silence and the ideal mindset. And guess what? That moment never comes, because perfect is the enemy of practice. Perfect is the excuse your brain uses to keep you comfortable, keep you safe, keep you stuck. Conscious reflection doesn't need perfect. It needs honest. You can do it while you're brushing your teeth, while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, while you're sitting in traffic, while you're lying in bed before sleep. The location doesn't matter. The aesthetic doesn't matter. What matters is that you stop, you breathe, and you ask yourself the questions that matter. What am I running from today? What am I running toward? Am I making choices based on who I want to be or who I used to be? Am I living intentionally or just reacting? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds like overthinking. This sounds like the kind of mental gymnastics that leads to paralysis, not progress. And you're right to be cautious, because there's a difference between conscious reflection and rumination. Rumination is when you replay the same thoughts over and over without reaching any new understanding. It's like watching the same movie 100 times hoping the ending will change. That's not what we're doing here. Conscious reflection has a direction. It has a purpose. You're not just thinking about your day, you're mining it for patterns. You're looking for the moments where you were operating from your highest self and the moments where you defaulted to your lowest programming. You're collecting data about yourself, real data, the kind that actually helps you make different choices tomorrow. And then, and this is crucial, you decide on one small adjustment, one micro shift, one tiny recalibration that you'll implement the next day. This is how transformation actually works, not through massive overhauls that last 3 days before you crash, not through willpower that depletes like a battery, but through consistent, incremental, conscious adjustments that your brain can actually integrate. You're not trying to become a different person overnight. You're trying to become 1% more aligned with your potential every single day. And 1% compounded over time is exponential growth. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say during your reflection, you notice that every time you face a challenging task, you immediately reach for your phone. You don't even decide to do it. It just happens. Your hand moves, the screen lights up, and suddenly 15 minutes have vanished into a scroll hole. Or you would judge this, feel bad about it, maybe promise to do better tomorrow, and then repeat the exact same pattern. New you, the one practicing conscious reflection, asks a different question. What am I actually avoiding when I reach for my phone? Maybe it's the fear of not being good enough. Maybe it's the discomfort of effort. Maybe it's the anxiety of potentially failing. Whatever it is, you've now identified the real issue. The phone isn't the problem. The phone is the symptom. The problem is the emotional state you're trying to escape. And now that you know this, you can make a conscious choice. Tomorrow, when that urge shows up, you're going to pause for 5 seconds, just 5. You're going to acknowledge the discomfort, name it, and then decide whether you want to avoid it or move through it. Most days, you might still reach for the phone. And that's okay, because you're no longer doing it unconsciously. You're making a choice, and choice is power. Choice is agency. Choice is the difference between being a victim of your habits and being the architect of your life. Over time, those 5-second pauses add up. They create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you become free. This is the transformation that conscious reflection creates. It doesn't promise you instant results or dramatic before and after stories. It promises you something better, self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is the foundation everything else is built on. You can't change what you're not aware of. You can't grow beyond patterns you don't recognize. You can't build a life you love if you're operating from a blueprint you've never examined. Now let's talk about the resistance you're going to face, because it's coming. The moment you commit to this practice, a part of your brain is going to rebel. It's going to tell you this is pointless. It's going to remind you how busy you are. It's going to convince you that you already know yourself well enough. This resistance isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something that threatens the status quo. And your brain loves the status quo, even when the status quo is making you miserable. Here's what I want you to understand about that resistance. It's not personal. It's not unique to you. It's universal. Every single person who's ever committed to conscious growth has faced it. The difference between the people who transform and the people who stay stuck isn't that the successful ones don't feel resistance. It's that they've learned to recognize it for what it is, fear dressed up as logic. Your brain will give you very convincing reasons why you don't need this practice. Don't believe it. Do the practice anyway. And here's a secret that will make this easier. You don't have to feel motivated to do this. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is a fair-weather friend who shows up when things are easy and disappears when things get hard. What you need is commitment. Commitment is showing up even when you don't feel like it. Commitment is honoring the agreement you made with yourself, regardless of your emotional state. Commitment is understanding that the version of you that you're trying to become requires consistency, not intensity. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things calm down. Today. Right now, at the end of this video, before you move on to the next thing, take 10 minutes and do your first conscious reflection. Ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today? What pattern showed up that I want to change? What's one small adjustment I can make tomorrow? Write down your answers, speak them out loud, record a voice memo. I don't care how you capture them, just capture them, make them real, make them concrete, and then tomorrow, do it again, and the day after that, and the day after that. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because you'll see results immediately, but because you trust the process. Not because someone told you to, but because you decided that the life you want is worth 10 minutes of honest self-examination every single day. This is how you change. This is how you grow. This is how you become the person you've always known you could be. The practice of conscious reflection isn't glamorous. It won't get you likes on social media. It won't impress anyone at parties. But it will give you something infinitely more valuable. It will give you yourself, the real you, the conscious you, the you that's been waiting for you to pay attention. And once you have that, once you truly know yourself, everything else becomes possible. Your goals become clearer, your decisions become easier, your life becomes yours. So let me ask you this. What would your life look like 6 months from now if you committed to this practice? What would be different about you? How would you show up in your relationships, your work, your daily routine? Who would you be if you spent 10 minutes every day intentionally becoming more conscious, more aware, more aligned? Close your eyes for a second and really see that version of you. They exist. They're waiting. They're just 10 minutes a day away. Here's the truth that most people never grasp. Self-development isn't about adding more to your life. It's about removing the layers of unconsciousness that have been blocking your natural growth. You don't need to become someone new. You need to remember who you actually are beneath all the conditioning, all the fear, all the stories you've been telling yourself. Conscious reflection is how you do that. It's how you peel back the layers. It's how you find yourself again. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some days, this practice will feel profound. You'll have insights that rock your world. You'll see patterns that explain everything. You'll feel like you've unlocked a cheat code for life. Other days, it will feel mundane. You'll sit there and think you're wasting your time. You won't have any big revelations. You'll wonder if this is even working. Do it anyway, because the days when it feels like nothing is happening are often the days when the deepest integration is occurring. Trust the process. Trust yourself. If you found value in this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me what question you're going to ask yourself during your first reflection. And if you want to go deeper into practices that actually create lasting transformation, subscribe, because we're just getting started. Remember, self-development isn't a destination. It's a daily practice. It's a choice. It's 10 minutes of consciousness in a world that's constantly trying to keep you asleep. And you're worth those 10 minutes. You've always been worth them. Now it's time to prove it to yourself.